Notification come up there that says we are live. Hello everybody and welcome to an AMA Q&A live with me, Leigh from Combe Campers on the Combe Campers YouTube channel. If it's your first time watching this, what we do is come here every Sunday, or try and come here every Sunday, and answer your questions if you have any. Normally at the beginning I don't have anyone to chat to, so I just do a bit of an intro, but as soon as we get rolling a little bit, we get some people coming into the chat, some people saying hello, some people saying who they are, and then we can start the questions rolling. So it looks like already we've got a couple of people in the chat. We've been going in for under a minute or so. So if you are watching, you do want to start getting involved immediately with either the questions or the comments, please leave a little comment down below, or just give us a wave to show you that A, you're there, and B, that my live chat is working as well. So if you are doing that right now, that would be amazing. So how's your week been, everybody? What have you been up to? Have you been working on your van? Have you been watching any of our videos this week? And do you have any plans for a camper van moving forward? You might be very, very new to the channel. You might be very, very new to the camper van game. You might be very new to us as a company. You might be very new to this concept of doing a live Q&A with me. So if you are, like I say, put it down in the comments, say hi. Normally what I ask is that you say who you are, where you're from, what van you've got, if you've got a van, have you been traveling at the weekend or camping, or have you been working on your camper? And normally straight away, John, who's already in, John Sear says hi, and he's drinking decaf coffee. He's already beat me to it. Normally what we say is, what are you drinking tonight? It's a Sunday evening, maybe the kids have gone to bed, maybe you're winding down, ready to go back to work tomorrow morning, or whatever you're doing, we normally just say, what are you drinking tonight? So John is here, he's drinking decaf coffee. James is in, he says, hi Leigh, hello James, how you doing? Alex Renew's in, he says, whiskey. Now, I've gone for something slightly different tonight. See that, it's slightly chilled. I'm emptying out my garage behind me, ready to get my next project car in there. And as such, there is a bag of old alcohol that we've either taken camping. So I've just taken the last of the dribble out of Brówka, which is a Polish vodka, which I absolutely love. You might know it as bison grass. Absolutely love that stuff to death. But I actually don't drink very often. I only drink when I'm having a chat with you guys, or when I'm out camping with friends and family. So it's not like I'm drinking every night. So that's been sat around in that bag in a garage for well over a year. I think I've moved it in 2 houses. And yeah, so what are you drinking? I've got Brówka vodka with some lemonade and a bit of ice. What are you drinking today? Like I say, Alex is drinking whiskey. John Sear says he's getting straight into it. What's he been doing to his van? He says he's just fitted some new all-terrain boots to his dispatch. Nice work. I'd love to see photos. Mr. High says, I love your hairstyle. I have no hair, so, well, maybe a touch of hair that's growing back, but thank you very much. Brian Cox is in, says, hi, 2012 VWT 5.1. Brian Cox, nice to see you this evening. Thanks so much for tuning in. Alex has said he's Lanagarded his T25 on Friday afternoon. That is not an easy job. How long did that take you? How long did that take you, Alex? So that is, yeah, that's not an easy job. Brian Cox says, I'm now drinking in the van mind. Oh, I'm not drinking in the van mind. No, I totally get it. James says he's got good old tea. CDVG says hi, good evening. Adventure Van Life is in. Good evening, Paul and family. How are we doing? He says, hello mate, happy Sunday. Got my glass of red wine. Mr. High says, are you British? Yes, I am British. Belial says, oi, this is interesting. It looks like we've got some people who are tuning in who are not normally used to seeing what we do. So if you are new to this, you haven't seen what we do before, you've never met me before, or you've never seen one of these YouTube lives. My name's Leigh. This is a Combe Campers YouTube channel, and what we do is like an AMA campervan conversions, camping, travel, all that sort of stuff. Please go ahead and ask me some questions, and I'll try my best. I'm not saying I've got an answer for everything, but I'll certainly try my best. And if I can't answer that question for you, I shall endeavour to find out. That's the best I can do. Mr. High says, are you British? I says, yes. Belial says, oi. Mr. High has come back, says, what's your thoughts on the King's income? I'm not going to lie, but Mr. High, I've never had any thoughts on the King's income. Blue Mun, does red wine make you get a lot of acid at 2 p.m. the day after? No, and I'm not a red wine drinker, so I don't really have an educated answer for that, I'm afraid. Alex says, does that include sitting on the pavement with a cup of tea while the bottle sat in a bucket of hot water? Sure, absolutely. Absolutely, Alex. John Sear says, I'm itching to get away in the van, but timing just clashes with other life stuff. I totally get it. Life stuff is more important. We're leading up to Christmas. There's lots of things to do, so maybe converting your van is not your biggest priority, but we can make plans for next year, right? We can make plans for next season. I would love to be able to do that with you guys. I've already been out this year, well, this winter. I went out, not last weekend, was it last weekend? Yes, it was last weekend. I went out with a couple of friends of mine. We went out to a lovely campsite just for a bit of a lads weekend, but not in that manner. We just got away. There was no phone signal. It was brilliant. Right, back to the comments. So John Sear said, I'm itching to get away in the van, but timing just clashes with other life stuff. Yes. Chris Wadula, if I've said that right, my apologies if I haven't, says King Charles or Queen Elizabeth? For me, or are we still talking about Mr. High's question? Text Flow says, cheers from Switzerland. No worries. Cheers from the UK. We are in the sunny southeast right now. Mr. High says, okay, I asked because it was in the news. That's why. Have you travelled in Alaska? No, I haven't travelled in Alaska. Somewhere I would love to go, actually. I like to do a bit of exploring, but I haven't got that far north, sadly. But yes, certainly something. Once we've built a van that's good enough to deal with cold weather for us, because we're building one for the customer at the moment. But once we've finished building a van for us that is capable with that sort of cold weather, then yes, there's certainly somewhere I'd like to explore. Blue Mun's been back in, says, I should stop drinking red wine because at 2 p.m. today I had a terrible acid and had to sit down on a neighbour's front wall because I couldn't make it home until the acid went away. I'm very, very sorry to hear that. That is not a good look, so I'm very sorry to hear that. Wheatland's Family Adventure says, hey, we're Emma and Glenn. We have a T5.1. We didn't do anything to it this weekend, but did go to a meetup. We're looking forward to seeing you at Campers and Coffee. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys too. We've got our Christmas Campers and Coffee coming up. Unfortunately, that's all sold out for tickets, but the event is at a free space. So you can come down, have a look at the vans and explore the local area as well. It's down in Hastings in East Sussex on the 14th of December. But fantastic. Congratulations on getting a new van. If you've got any questions about converting it or moving forward, we're here to answer your questions. A Dizzle says, my wife is not a big camping fan. How can I convince her? That's not a bad question at all there, A Dizzle. I would potentially just rent out a van for a weekend. There's lots of companies all over the UK that are willing to rent you a VW Transporter size van just so you can have a weekend away. And I think that's one of the best ways to get about doing it, is actually going away in a van or even a bigger van. That I know the guys at Campervan Furniture down in South Wales or Southwest Wales, they have a crafter that they rent out and it's an amazing piece of kit. So maybe you can maybe rent out a van for a weekend, and then if you could say to your wife, for example, let's go away this weekend. If you really don't like it, I'll stop asking, but let's just at least give it a go. John Sear says, I want to fit a pull-out roll-out awning. I think brackets will be a problem. I briefly spoke with Marcus about it. Pull-out roll-out awning. So we're looking like the Fiamma that you sort of slide onto a C channel and then just roll out, or are you talking about like an ARB rollout type awning? On your type van, obviously you've got quite a curved roof if I remember right, but there's always going to be a bracket set that will enable you to fit an awning. If you want further information, why don't you email us, John, with let's say the year and spec of your van, what awnings you were looking at, and then let's see if we can help out. We have the Hindu Kush Mountain Church in. Hello. Hello, guys. Nice to speak to you. Ham Radio Mobile is back. Good evening. Evening again from that radio van guy. Nice to see you. Thanks for tuning in again. Mr. High says, tell us your dangerous camping story, because I saw a video on YouTube that a guy was camping and he heard some paranormal things. Well, dangerous camping story. For those of you who don't know, I'm ex-military. So I spent 8 years of my life serving in the British Army, and I actually lived out of vehicles then. I had an operator type job, which meant I took 4x4 trucks up mountains and everything else. And I've been essentially off grid, doing off grid camping since I was 18 years old, because obviously you have to be self-sufficient when you're in the military. If you even go away in a truck, you've got to be self-sufficient, be it the generators or batteries that you're using, and you've got to take enough rations, etc., to be able to make sure you survive. Now, in terms of that, the most dangerous camping story is when I had to go out to the Middle East, serving in Iraq. That was pretty dangerous in camping, I guess. But in Germany, when I lived out there, I served in Germany, and we got snowed in for a week on top of a mountain with our truck. We couldn't get any supplies, any drops. We had to do things like melt snow, all sorts of stuff to drink. It wasn't the easiest time, but we had a good time doing it. Hindu Kush Mountain says, I got a camper with a shower. It's a Ford RS45. Lovely. Maybe if you hit up on other social media, be it on Facebook or Instagram, maybe you can send us a picture. That'd be cool. Mr. High says, the video was from the UK. Only I hope you heard about that news. No, do you know what? I didn't hear about that news. But I hope you like my story. Paul Warren says, hi from North Yorkshire. Love the channel. Recently purchased a T6.1 to convert. Your vids make decisions easier. Well, that's why we're here, Paul. We are here to make your lives easier when it comes to converting vehicles. And that's our aim. That's like our mission statement moving forward as Combe Valley Campers, is to be like an all-in-one place where you can not only get advice, get tutorials, buy the parts and fit them all from one place, and it saves you shopping around. So that's kind of one of our mission statements, I guess. I say mission statement, I've never really said that before. That's one of our aims, is to help you have the easiest time possible when converting your van. TVI UK says, hi, hello. John Sear says, Dizzle, tell your wife that lots of single ladies will be on the campsite. She'll go with you very quickly. Warren from Silver Fox Builds is in. He says, hey peeps. Mr. Warren, nice to see you. Thank you so much for tuning in. By the way, if you have just tuned in, we are 13 minutes into an hour-long Q&A session with myself, Leigh from Combe Valley Campers. Combe Valley Campers is my business. And it's also my YouTube channel. So I host the YouTube channel, and on Sundays, as much as I can, we do a live Q&A right here, right now, between 8 and 9. So, but one of the first things we do is we ask you guys to tell us who you are, where you're from. Do you have a camper? If so, what type? Have you been camping this weekend? Have you been working on converting your van this weekend? And most of all, what are you drinking? I've got some vodka lemonade going on right now. CDVG says, hi Craig and Nicola from York. Good evening. We've just bought a 6-seater Transit Custom to convert after we have watched all of your tutorial videos, of course. Do you supply for Ford or is it just VW? Of course we supply for Ford. Most of the Campervan products are universal. So rock and roll beds and things like that, they are universal. Now, obviously, Transit Customs are becoming more and more popular. So van shades now make proper window pods for Transit Customs. There are people who make interiors for Transit Customs. There are people who make pop tops for Transit Customs. They are almost just as easy to convert now as VWs are. And we certainly supply for Transits as well. In fact, our new website that we are building currently has a whole section for Transit Customs. Paul Warren says T6.1 is a copper bronze highline long wheelbase, lovely spec with low miles. That sounds delicious, Paul. Debating changing out the sliding windows for non-VW ones so I can have a matching glass that doesn't leak. That is a great idea. The VW factory windows are renowned for leaking. Do apologise, got a bit of an itchy eye today. Yeah, factory VW sliding windows are known to leak. And to get them repaired, if you're out of warranty, is just as much as having them replaced with some non-factory VW glass. We sell non-factory VW glass. We get it through Camper Glass. And if you look at some of our latest videos, we fitted a Safari glass on the driver's side and a flush opening sliding window on the passenger sliding door side. And it's brilliant. They're really, really good. And we've got the videos to do it. However, if you're removing old glass to put new stuff in, get somebody qualified to do it. It's not quite the job you can do at home without maybe damaging some paint. Mr. High says, so after military, you started adventure camping. I finished the military way back in 2008. Yeah, I joined in 2000, left in 2008. I did lots of different jobs. And then started Combe Valley Camps about 9 years ago. But I've always done camping, always done travelling. It's my thing. Lost in a VW, Tony. He says, evening people. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you so much. Hi Leigh, how are you and the family? Hope you and the family are good. On some lemonade right now, work in the morning. Cheers. Cheers Tim for tuning in. Thank you so much. And there are 35 of you tuned in right now. We're only 16 minutes in. Now for somebody like me, that is amazing. Thank you so much, all 35 of you for tuning in and watching. We have currently 8 thumbs up. Now, apparently around this screen, there are 3 dots that you can hit and then give the video a thumbs up. If you've liked the content so far, or you've liked an answer to a question that you might find useful, please go and hit a thumbs up for me, please. I'm going to ask directly. Please go and hit a thumbs up because it really, really helps us as a channel. It will share this video. If you've got friends or family who might be interested in this Q&A or our channel as a whole, please go ahead and share this video out there as well. It just really helps us out and it means I can do more of this moving forward with you guys. Warren is in. He says, hey Tony, Warren, Berkshire, Transit Custom Minibus at Silver Fox Builds. Yes, please do. All these people, by the way, if you're new to these lives, most of these people in these comments have very similar, if not the same, tags or handles on the likes of Instagram. And what I would say you should do is go and follow these people. The likes of Warren there at Silver Fox Builds, he's a good friend of mine. Tony Lost in a VW, he's a good friend of mine. And if you look at their channels, you look at what they do on their content, they're really experienced people who have effectively taught themselves van building, and through their van building and through the quote-unquote van life, we've all become friends because we've got the same sort of mindset and frame of mind, and it's lovely. But yes, go ahead and have a look through these people who are watching right now and commenting, and go and give them a follow because they have lots of valuable information and life experience that I'm sure they would be very happy to dish out to you. John Sears says, ID Buzz has gone on sale in the US. I wonder how much they'll be. Now, that is something we had a look at as a business because I don't know if VW are getting rid of stock or they just need to move numbers or what it is, but it seems to be at the moment ID Buzz Cargos, which are the ones I like, the real proper poverty spec ID Buzzes with black bumpers and standard white paint. They're the sort that I like. I like poverty spec vans. I don't like too many bells and whistles. That being said, it's on an ID Buzz, which is an EV car. From VW for a business, it was something like a £2,000 to £2,500 deposit, and then anywhere between £200 and £400 a month as a finance vehicle, as like a lease vehicle. Sorry, I thought that's not bad, you know, for a brand new brand new, new vehicle. You know, that's kind of cool. I mean, I'd play that game potentially. What do you guys reckon? Should I go for an ID Buzz in the new year? What do you think? Leave it down in the comments. Or what are your thoughts on the ID Buzz? What would you like to see from the ID Buzz? Let me know. James says, are you planning any Black Friday deals? Now, we are going to be doing some offers on our shop in the very near future. Yes, whether we call them Black Friday, I don't know. But we're not a big fan of Americanisms per se, finding their way into UK shops. That being said, I know times are tough. I know we all like a bargain, so there will more than likely be a form of deal situation going on as of Black Friday. But I will never say we're doing I won't say for this year we're not doing a Black Friday deal, so to speak. But I'm sure you'll be finding some offers moving forward. Truth, hi Truth, has given me a thumbs up. Thanks again. Thanks for tuning in, sorry. John Sear says, can't forget, good evening, Dobby. John Sear says, good evening, Dom. She says, good evening. She's in the next room watching this and just making sure I don't fluff anything up. Mr. High says, nice to talk to you, sir. You Britisher. Come back to India and rule again. But we hate monarch. So keep it in your country. Love you all, English people. Mr. High, well, thank you very much for tuning in as well. That is not a response I thought I'd be reading out tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's been a pleasure having a little interaction with you today. Edward Humphreys is in and says, evening, Leigh, from cold Somerset. Oh, one of my favourite places. Picking up our T6 this week, then going straight to our local converters. Would love to convert personally, but push for time. Can't wait to see your finished van. Edward, congratulations to getting a van. Congratulations on finding a local converter as well. What sort of build are you going for? Are you going for a traditional sort of interior down one side build with a 3/4 bed? Are you having a pop top? Are you going for an all-out just bed in the back? Leave it down in the comments. Let's see what you're going for. I'm interested to know. Tony says, T4 and a T5.1, Manchester. Not a standard conversion. No, it's not a standard conversion. Again, go and follow Lost in the VW on Instagram. He's got a wicked van. Wheatland's Family Adventure says, we have a Van Slam suspension on our VW. Can we have Swamper wheels on it, or will we need to change the suspension? Very good question. I can't give you a definitive answer because I don't know the entire specs. That being said, let's say you have Van Slam suspension with 21-inch wheels and rubber band tyres. Double check them against your proposed Swamper wheel setup you're thinking about getting and Swamper wheel and tyre setup you're getting. Compare the rolling radiuses and the dimensions of the wheel and tyre, and you might find that actually the sizes aren't too different. Like a huge set of alloys with skinny tyres or a more narrow set of, let's say, 17s with some big tyres, you might find that the rolling radius or the outer diameter might be about the same, so you could get away with it. Worth looking into, no. Worth looking into, though. James says, no, maybe if the ID Buzz had a diesel engine. Well, that's brilliant. I want to hear your thoughts. Let me know what you think of the ID Buzz. Also, whilst you're on the subject, whilst I'm going through the comments, have you guys seen the new Transporter, the T7? If you had a look at Transporter HQ's videos over the last month or so, they actually went to Hanover. Andy from Transporter HQ and his colleague, they actually went to Hanover recently and did a really good, like half-hour long video on the new Transporter. What are your thoughts? Let me know down below. Let's open up that discussion. John Sear says, I think the ID Buzz is nice. However, I think it needs to be just a little longer. They do actually have an ID Buzz long wheelbase. And I think, like the difference between a long and short wheelbase Transporter and Transit Custom, they're at like 400mm difference, something like that. Tony says, ID Buzz, I'll have a pint of blue top and half a dozen eggs, please. Yes. Now, for those of you who don't remember, milk floats, they were all electric, but nice reference there, Tony. I love it. Paul Warren's giving me a thumbs up. Ben Ashurst says, hi, discovered you 2 days ago. Love the content. I'm playing a Transit Custom build. If I carpet a custom and then later decide to add a pop top, would that mean restripping the full van? No, Ben. First of all, thank you so much for tuning in. Really appreciate that. Secondly, thanks so much for finding the channel and watching the content. Thirdly, the answer to your question. You carpet the van from sort of the roof line down. You don't cover the whole roof and then down in one go. The reason we do that is because it's a nice transition between, let's say, ply headlining and then the carpet. Plus, if you carpeted right up to the top of the ceiling, it would just be far too much for emission. You'd use too much material. So, if you're only carpeting right up to the top where it's covered just by the headliner, if you do decide to go ahead and get a pop top later down the line, then that is absolutely fine. What you will find is you'll have to remove your headliner, and also if say you've got a bed and an interior in there, people who do pop top conversions generally like you to hand them an empty van, just because they'd have to charge you to take the bed out of the interior, otherwise they might damage it. So yes, try and find yourself, if you do go for pop top, get one as early as possible. If you do choose to get one later down the line, just bear in mind you may have to remove all the interior, make their life easier. But Ben, thanks again for tuning in. James says, that's fair enough. You're not doing Black Friday. I find that the details are normally, the deals are normally rubbish from anywhere else. Yeah, normally, say if you're a big corporation or you're Amazon or whatever, you know, you might have spent the last 6 to 8 weeks bumping up the prices slowly, and then boff, you know, Friday deals will go, hey, 60% off, and in reality, it might only be 10, might only be 20. But genuinely, if we're going to give you a deal from our little shop, because effectively we are a family business, we are a little family-run business, we'll try and find the best deal possible, but we're certainly not a Google. Wheatland's Family Adventure says, thank you, you are more than welcome. CDVG says, would you recommend starting our build with a pop-top roof, and do you think we should DIY it? I think, first of all, I don't know your situation or your circumstances. You might have found some of our earlier videos where, say the T6.1 build with my wife that we've done. I asked her in the very first episode a series of questions. Where are you going? How many people do you want to sleep? What power requirements do you have? Are you always going to camp on campsites or in fields or off-grid or at festivals, blah, blah, blah. You need to ask yourself those questions first. Maybe even spend the next year just chucking a mattress in the back of the van. See how you camp, see where you go, see what requirements you have. Because too often, and I'm getting to a point, too often I see lots of people go all in. They go, right, I need a 4-berth, I need a pop-top, I need all the electrics, I need all the beds, I need every accessory going, but they've never been out camping in a van before. And then they realise, oh, that setup doesn't work for me. Or I've wasted my money here, or I definitely didn't need a USB point here, and I definitely don't need 500 amp hours of lithium battery, and I definitely think a pop-top was an expense I didn't need. So what I would recommend is go through those questions first of your basic requirements, what you need, where you're going, how long you're staying out for, and then kind of work back from there. But the three, we spoke about this last week, the 3 main things I would recommend you buy for your vehicle first if you're just converting it. 1 is a heater, because it gets really cold, especially in this country. 2, buy a decent cool box so you can keep your beers cold, your milk fresh, and your butter hard. And get an awning, like a wind out or a pull out or even just a canopy, because you might find you need extra shelter. Once you've got those 3 things, get out in that van. Buy a blow-up mattress from Argos or wherever. Just get out in the van and start using it, start traveling, and then see over the next season what you might like, what you requirements are. Do I need to run a laptop? Do I need to run USBs? Da, 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 da. Lots of things. So should you DIY pop-top? You can, but it's a lot of work, and you need about 4 people to help you lift it up if it's the first time you've done it. If you're starting your build, really look into what you need, just to save you money, really, because you might be buying lots of things you don't actually need. Somebody with a name I can't pronounce has commented in full caps and says, please tell me Pipishka. Dommy, what does Pipishka mean? What does Pipishka mean? Looks in a language I don't understand. Could be Russian, could be somewhere else, I don't know. Well, there you go, I've said it. Paul Warren says, T7 wet belt engine is not going to be great for the VW brand. That I would agree with. However, I don't think the VW T7 has actually confirmed which engine they're going with. Yeti, the VW Transit. Yeah, see, this is why we're doing this. I want to hear your comments. Right, do you like this discussion, by the way? Do you like the way we hold this YouTube live? Do you like the format? Do you like knowing what I drink? I certainly want to know what you drink. If you do, please be sure to give this video a little thumbs up for me, please, or just leave a comment or leave a wave. Up in this framework of this screen that you're watching now, there should be 3 dots somewhere. If you hit that and hit the thumbs up, that really, really helps us, and we can broadcast out to more people, and it's really, really fun as well talking to you lot. I'm on vodka coke, by the way. Tim, who's back in, says, do you think cooking in the van by people is a good thing or bad thing for the van? Serious question. That depends on the size of the van. If you're in a 1-ton size van, like a VW Transporter or Transit Custom, or a Vivaro, or whatever it might be, NV200, no, cooking in the van is not a great idea, because even boiling a kettle, you're going to fill it with moisture. Cooking an egg, you're going to spatter fat everywhere, because your bed's right next to the stove. You don't want to spatter fat everywhere. Cooking a curry, It's going to stink. Don't cook in your van. I don't recommend you cook in a van anyway. James is back in, says the T7 multivan is better in my opinion. Excellent. Yeah, do you know what? I like it. And if you've watched any of Urban Arc Overland's videos recently, I think he's confirmed he's getting one. Justin Lim, I have a T5.1. It's had the usual rock and roll kitchen setup, a rock and roll bed and kitchen setup. Found it to have no sound deadening or insulation. Watched the video, so ripped it all out. Now have a U-shaped setup. Vids make it easy. Yes, that's cool, Justin. That's cool. You bought a van, and genuinely, this is what happens all the time. Like, people go out and buy the van they fall in love with and the best they can afford, and I get it. But not a lot of people out there convert vans like we do, or to the extent, or maybe to the obsession that we do, and then, like Justin's just done, he's bought a van and gone, there's no sound deadening in it, there's no insulation in it, and he's ripped it all out and he's built the van he wants. I think that is rad, Justin. That's really, really cool. Congratulations. Alex Renouf says, have you done any builds with power banks yet? Yes. Dommy's van has a Clayton in it, but we haven't done that video yet, so it's a little bit, no, it's not really a secret. Yes, we've worked with Clayton on Dommy's van, and we have a Clayton LPS 3, I think, LPS 2, 3K, something like that. Wicked piece of kit. More details later. Paul Mogsy Morris says, I just need van prices to become more sensible so I can join the Van Life Club. Lol. Do you know what, Paul? First of all, thanks for tuning in. Really appreciate you making a comment as well. Van prices are never going to get better. What van are you after? You after small, like a crafter? No, wrong. Small, like a caddy. Medium, like a transporter. Or large, like a crafter. What are you after? John Sear says, the interior design of my van changed 3 times before our first trip away. Not a rock and roll bed, sink, hob, or wardrobe in sight. There you go. There we go. Absolutely. Bully's interior's changed 3 times. It's probably going to change again. Matthew says, man, you look like Ed Stafford. I don't know who Ed Stafford is. Who is he? Where would I find it? Well, I'm on my phone right now with you guys, so I can't Google it. But maybe I'll have to look at that. Brian Cox says, can I ask a solar panel question, please? If so, I'll type it out. Brian, go ahead. Let's see what we can do for you, my man. John Sear says, will you break the 60 people record this week? I don't know. That was really, really fun last week. We had, what, 35, 36 plus? Something like that. My wife's just come in. Googled Ed Stafford. For those who don't know,
he's an explorer.
He's an explorer. There you go. That is Ed Stafford. Is there a likeness?
No.
He's a bit more hench than I am, isn't he?
No.
He's got some years on him over me, I reckon. Do I really look like Ed Stafford? I've got a better beard. For now.
Got better everything.
Oh, there you go. My wife says I've got better everything. Cool. I don't know, John. Will we break the 60 people record this week? It would be cool. We actually, according to the stats, you might have seen 60 pop up, but according to the stats, we had something like 616 individual viewers last week, and that number got to a max of 59. More than one person said it hit 60. I don't get it, because I didn't see it, but maybe. So I've got friends. Do you know what? My friends and colleagues and people who I know watch this channel, watch this live with me, and then whilst they're watching, they're Googling something else and then sending me messages. So if I just go for a split second, that's because one of my friends or somebody I know has sent me a post and I've had to stop and digest it. So if you're watching this and you're one of my mates, please don't send me anything for the next half hour because it distracts me and throws me off completely. Anyway, let's get back into it. Right, so before I start reading out the next run of questions, hi, my name's Leigh. I run Combe Campers, and this is our YouTube channel. Every Sunday, or as much as I can, I do a Q&A session between 8 and 9 p.m. We discuss campervans, we discuss traveling, we discuss solar and batteries and awnings and all sorts of stuff, and it's brilliant. We also have a quick chit chat about what we're drinking. Tonight I'm on vodka Coke. What are you on? It's nice to know. Also, what I ask is if you're new here and you want to get involved, first thing, find the 3 dots around here, give the video a thumbs up, really helps me out, means we can broadcast to more people. The other thing I'd like you to do is just write down who you are, where you're from, what van you've got, have you worked on it this weekend, are you planning a build, what's going on? This is what really gets the chat going, and I absolutely love it. Mark Squires is in. He says, hi Leigh, I have a 1600 watt double hob induction cooker. What size battery and inverter would you recommend to run it? Right, I would recommend you need a minimum of 160 amp hour lithium battery, and I recommend you need a minimum, absolute minimum, of a 2 kilowatt inverter. In fact, for a 1600 watt double watt, I would say minimum 3 kilowatt inverter. And it's got to be a good one. None of this pony stuff from Temu. It's got to be a good inverter. Okay? Sorry, that was unfair of me to say things about Temu. I've never bought a damn thing from Temu. However, if you want to run an induction hob off batteries, you are going to need a decent inverter. Okay? So that's the minimums. Michael Hunt says, hi, just got a T6. Is it possible to put a night heater under the driver's seat? It's a bare van. Oh, has he finished the question? It's a bare van so far. Yes, absolutely. In fact, that is one of the first things I recommend you put into your van before you consider anything else, is put a heater in. Now, with a VW transporter, you can mount the heater under the seat. We sell it on our website. It's from Autoterm Planar Autoterm. It's the T5 bundle, and you can choose to either have a bracket that will mount it underneath the van. We're bringing a video out on that soon. And there's also an option to fit it under the driver's seat. There's a video coming out. In fact, Urban Arc Overland's got a great video on that. So go and check out Urban Arc Overland's YouTube channel. But yes, please do, go ahead. Autoterm heater, 2 kilowatt is all you need. I suggest a comfort controller at the very minimum. But you can mount it underneath the van or under the seat. John Sears back in. He says, the Bully Basic interior inspired my van design. Oh man, that's really cool. Thank you, John. Paul Mogsy Morris. Paul Mogsy Morris. That's not Mogsy with the EV, Paul Mogsy Morris, is it? No, that's Moggy, isn't it? Anyway, Med wanted one of the new customs, but you're talking 38 grand, including VAT, just for an empty shell. Needs to be fairly new, low mileage, as will be my main vehicle, and tend to keep my vehicles for a long time. Right, okay. So, yes. So you asked earlier, I need VAT, yeah. Mogsy came in earlier and says, I need van prices to become more sensible so I can join the van club. Yeah, if you're after something low mileage and new, it's always going to be high, Paul, I'm afraid. No, night, sweetheart. I'll see you later. It's my eldest. Just pop into bed. Yeah, if you're looking for new and or very low mileage, they're never going to come down, my man, I'm afraid. Paul Warren says, what's your thoughts on rib beds versus Rusty Leigh? I reckon there is a bed out there for everybody. And I think that's definitely the case with rib beds and Rusty Leigh. Both exceptionally good beds. I've had exclusively Rusty Leigh beds in my vehicles, and we absolutely love them. The kids love them. They're comfortable. They're nice to sit on. They're nice to lay on. And they don't take up much space in the van. They're very, very good. Rib beds, on the other hand, they flip round and operate in a different manner, which means you can flip the back up and you can get more storage space in the back. So moving forward, if you wanted to if you wanted to look at either of the Rusty Leigh bed or the rib bed, you can find them in our showroom that's opening in the new year. So if you wanted to lay on one of the beds or operate one of the beds before you make a very expensive decision, come head down to the Combe Campus showroom very soon. How's that sound? Plug. Paul says, oh, plus new customer reviews are terrible and full of issues according to a lot of the new owners. Yeah, I think, Paul, any new van, you're going to have problems with. I think a vehicle in particular needs a couple of years run before they start ironing out all the creases. I think that's probably why VW have gone, do you know what, Ford, you go first. Let's see how much you've messed up, or, let's see how many faults need to get fixed. Then we'll release the VW. Paul's come back and said, whoops, so sorry, my bad. No worries at all. Edward Humphreys, pop top versus rooftop tent. What's your experience and what do you prefer? Still undecided. I've had both. I have both, in fact. I've used both. Completely depends on your lifestyle. There are more than one type of roof tent. Let's start with roof tents first. There are more than one type of roof tent. You can get clamshell ones with a solid top. You can get fabric ones that open. You can get ones that just pop right up and then slot down. It really depends on what your lifestyle is. If you go for a fabric rooftop tent like the Tent Box or the Fiamma, like we have, and we've done a video on it on our Green Beetle, they can be a bit of a pig to open. Like, without experience, they can take 20 minutes to set up. Whereas a pop top, you go undo catch, and it's up. Clamshell ones are a lot easier to put up because again, undo clip, the hydraulic struts keep it open. The fabric ones are a little bit more faffing about. I believe they're designed more for cars, but they're still a good thing. They're lighter as well. Like clamshell roof tents are a lot heavier, but there's lots of people out there making really, really nice ones. We have a pop top on our T25. That's a 40-year-old van. We absolutely love that to bits. It's a Super Viking. If you don't know what a Super Viking roof on a Type 25 is, please go ahead and Google that, and you'll see why we love it so much. So yes, it's entirely up to you which ones you go for, and it's entirely up to you which ones you go for. But do your research before you go. Just leave it there. Just leave it there. Thank you. Off you go. 5 minutes. That's all I want. 5 minutes. Andrew Vaughan, he's in. Good evening. What's better, a solar generator or a full electric system, price, fitting, etc. first time? Andrew, you can go as simple or as expensive or as elaborate as you wish when it comes to electric systems. It just depends on your requirements. Do you want to go camping and just plug in a phone, a cool box, and maybe run your heater? Or do you want to live off grid for 32 days at a time? So basically, again, we've said this before in this particular YouTube live, start off with your requirements first and then work backwards from there. If you need to run a business from your van for 4 weeks off grid at a time, you're going to need to go big, which means money. If you want to just take your van away for a weekend, ensure your phone and your camera's got enough charge and your cool box keeps your beers and milk cold, then an AGM battery will probably do you. So yeah. Casper the Friendly Cooking Apple, that is a rad name. My T4 clocks have fallen over. Sent it away but can't be repaired. Any ideas? T4 clocks, are we talking the speedo and the rev counter, or like the time clock? I'm going to guess it's the speedo. Try and find somebody who's breaking one. Disregard the mileage, just make a note of it on your service history, and make sure you inform your MOT tester at the next test. Maybe do some photo evidence. This one's broken, this one works. I've swapped it over to stay legal so I can read the speed. Just get some ones from a breaker van, as long as they're fine. The speedo or the mileometer tacho on my T25 stopped working about 4 years ago. And it stopped at 199998 or something. It didn't even click over to 200,000. How annoying is that? Speedo still works though. Brian Cox. So, I unfortunately stuck 2 flexible 100-watt panels to the roof. Worked for a few years. One, the coating peeled off. Now both not showing many watts. I have volts on the Victron app. Rip them off. They can be ripped off. We had to do one last week. Patience, elbow grease, maybe some mechanical type wires or a multi-tool, but they can come off. It just takes time and it's a bit messy. And if you want to then cover up that mess, just go for one solar panel that's bigger than both of the ones you've just removed. We've just put something like, oh gosh, it's like a 1400 by 600 solar panel on a roof to cover up 2 previous old ones, and it works amazing. Banashas, do you have diesel heaters for the Transit Customs, and where do they go in a van? The diesel heaters are generally universal fit. They can go anywhere in a van. They can go anywhere in the floor in the van as long as you're not hitting anything underneath, and according to the fitting instructions, you've got the right gaps around everything. You can get the exhaust and the intakes and everything else in the right orientation. But generally, in any vehicle, they can be placed. In a Transit, your fuel tank's right up front, so you can't fit it up front, but you have the whole back of the van to fit it inside or underneath. The manufacturers do recommend you mount all heaters inside, but they have provisions like stainless steel metal boxes to hold your heater underneath your van, and in a transit custom you've got tons of space to do that. Adventure Van Life. Hi everyone, my name is Paul from Adventure Van Life, and this winter we're heading off to the Arctic Circle. Can't wait, the amazing team at Combe Campus are building my van for me, and it's wow. Well, thank you very much, Paul from Adventure Van Life, and he's your man when it comes to talking about Autotherm heaters as well. Tim says, any tips on making my sliding side windows on my T5 slide better? They're really stiff to open close. You can use a silicon? What's the spray grease? I want to say silicon spray. You can pop that in the areas, but don't lash it in there. Just make some nice little bits of silicon spray within the hinges, within the runners, and then just keep working it backwards and forwards. You might find that would be a bit better. If they're really stiff and they don't respond to you adding some sort of lubricant in there, best is that they probably get replaced. Brian Cox says, think both panels have expired. Can I just use a normal panel over the top bolt-on type? Yes, not a bad idea. You can definitely do that, Brian Cox. Mark Squire says, nice one, cheers. Dumb question coming up. Is it okay to plug an extension lead in the inverter? What, from the inverter to you? Yes, absolutely. But make sure that in between your inverter and your extension, you have a form of circuit breaker in there, like an RCD. Now, when we fit inverters, we always have electrical safety in between the socket you're wanting to power and the inverter itself, no matter what the size. If it's a 200 watt, we put one of those little plug-in RCDs on the end of the inverter. If it's anything over and above that, we will actually have a little consumer unit board with RCDs, you know what I'm saying, sorry, my brain's a bit fry, in between the inverter and the socket, just for your safeguarding, really. So yes, absolutely, you can effectively plug in an extension lead, but make sure you have protection in between whatever you're plugging in to the extension lead and the inverter. You have some protection in between. I hope that makes sense. Tim says, good luck, Paul. Wow, Arctic Circle, that's going to be some trip. Yeah, absolutely. Brian Cox says, frustrating, the chat typing is limited. Yes, absolutely, Brian. Do you know what I'd love to do? Is it Tony Robbins or Tony Robinson? I can't remember. Who's a really big tall dude from America? I've actually met him once, believe it or not, on a random trip in Scotland. He was at a White House that the public can access on one of Donald Trump's golf courses. We were up there going for a walk, went to the White House, saw Tim Robbins, whatever his name is. Anyway, what he does is he does live interactive broadcasts. So let's say I'm Tim and you're all watching me and I can all see your faces, and then you can ask questions. So rather than doing lots of typing, I'd love to have the budget to do something like that, but for now you're gonna have to just type. Banasha says, thanks for the reply about pop tops. I may want one as I have 2 kids, so my daughter could go in there, as I think she'll be fussy about going in an awning tent. And the rest of the van, I'm thinking, yeah, that's another bonus of having a pop top, is you're increasing your space and you're all confined, whereas yes, an exterior tent, chucking your kids outside and then going up in the tent is a bit of a mission. Right, we have 12 minutes left. I saw at one point there was 50 odd of you in here, so thank you so much. If you are in the latter half of this live with me, I'm Leigh. This is the Combe Valley Campers YouTube live. It's an AMA Q&A. And if you wouldn't mind, if you're watching this, you've got some value from what we've been saying this evening, please go ahead, find the 3 dots up here somewhere, give us a thumbs up, that would really help. If you want to get involved in the chat, lots of good stuff going on right now, please ask me a question. I have nearly 11 minutes, just over 11 minutes to go, but probably like last week, we'll run over. So let's get straight back onto it. But yeah, if you want to get involved in the chat, who are you, where are you from, what camper you got, have you been camping, have you been working on it, what are you drinking? I'm on vodka coke. I'm still on the same. I've been talking so much. Right. Tom Blewett. Good evening, Tom. Sprinter medium wheelbase conversion in progress. What size and location for the heater? Any recommendations? In a medium wheelbase Sprinter, we've actually fitted a 2K under the driver's seat. within that box under the driver's seat. That is entirely feasible. There's a perfect little space in between both the chassis outriggers there, or the chassis rails, that you can plop one in. So that's nice to get heat at the front of the van. At the rear of the van, wherever your interior allows you to. Once you've laid out the interior and you know where your water tank's going, or your shower, or this, or that, or the other, then look at what space you have underneath and what space you have on top, and then you can locate your heater in the van. But if you want a very easy situation, you can fit it within that seat base of a Sprinter. Ben Ashurst, no cooking like Dom, windows, heater and electrics, no units, and rock and roll as 6 foot 6 inch blow up bed will do me, so I can get out and see how I like it. Just traded my car for a custom so I can start. There we go, Ben. You have got the right idea. Buy a van, get out there. Fit a heater first though. Etch2002 says, hello, good evening, Etch2002, thank you for joining us. Michael Cosgrove, good evening, thank you for joining us. One question about bed types. I see the Murphy bed is popular in the US, but hardly seen any here. Any reason why not? That might be down to some form of EU regulation or British regulation, that it's got to be crash tested, because rules and regs say if you fit seats in the back of a vehicle here, they have to be seat belted, they have to be fitted by a competent person, and they have to be safe in the event of an accident or a crash, forward-facing crash. In the EU, the rules and regulations are much stricter. They have to go, each vehicle and product has to go through a TUV test, and that's a very expensive process. That might be why a Murphy bed, we don't see them here. Christian Crypto, good evening, Christian Crypto. What's the average height for a fixed bed in the back of a Sprinter? Really good question. We're building one at the moment. I think it's about, I want to say it's anywhere between 500 and 600 high. But normally it's at the waist height. Where the window frames are at the back of the van, a lot of people fit the window pods at the back to make sure they can fit 6 foot across the back of a Sprinter. Normally, that's at the waist height of the van. That's normally what height we have a bed frame, and then whatever your mattress is on top. Hope that helps. On to the British Gamer. Thank you for coming in and saying hello. In fact, he doesn't say hello. He says, when did you lose your hair? I started losing my hair at about 19, 21, but I went all in probably about 6-7 years ago and just shaved a lot off. It's actually a little bit long right now. He says, got an ace beard, low key. Thanks, my man. Appreciate it. British Gamers then says, my name is Richard. I need a 10K van idea to hide the kids. Lots of advice out there. I have no idea what your requirements are, but if you want to get more information, either put more details down below. And if you want even more details than that, hit us up on the email. It's info@combevalleycampers.co.uk. Zexa, good evening. ZEXXAH says, Richard here, need a van, ideas ASAP. 10K budget. How's your king? Is he well? Sorry, that's two different questions. Right, Richard says, Richard here, need van ideas ASAP, 10K budget. 10K budget. Buy yourself an already built VW T5 Transporter, buy the best you can afford, the highest spec you can afford, keep an eye on the mileage, keep an eye on the service history, and don't go in with rose-tinted glasses, and do not buy the first van you see. There you go. David S. I'm going to assume he's not from the UK. He says, how's your king? I don't know. I don't know the king, but I'm sure he's fine. We'd know about it otherwise. And then he says, is he well? Yeah, I'm sure if the king wasn't well, we'd know about it. James says, have you ever used Renogy inverters? No, but Ross, my colleague, has. And he's a big advocate of Renogy inverters. Mark Squires says, perfect sense. Thanks, Leigh. What was Mark Squires asking earlier? 1 second. Mark Squires was asking about, is it okay to plug an extension lead? Yes, you're more than welcome, my man. British Gamer, king is good, but the queen got cabs. Coming from a gamer. Tony Robbins. That's it, John. Not Tim. Tony Robbins. Yes. Tommy. British Gamer says, big up Tommy Robinson. Man, I'm behind. Or is it Baskin Robbins? Balaclava Boy says, hello, my friend. I'm Hugh Janus from Cork Island. Hi, Hugh. Oh, you've got to be better than that to catch me out. Top Flight Film says, hi Leigh, Glyn here, T6. Seen a lot of people making thermal internal lagging for the pop top. Any good? There's businesses out there that actually do that. I can't remember their names. You can either be an external reflective, lagging, or an internal. But there are businesses out there, if you can't find your exact roof that they make a lagging for, you can send dimensions of your roof away and they'll make you a custom one. British Gamer says, thank you for your tips. We'll help him well. Already got one in the boot. J.A. says, what's up with the matter, Daddy? I don't know. What's the matter with you? It's really bad room. What is it? What's the matter, baby? I don't know what's the matter with you. What's with the matter, Daddy? Brilliant. Christian Crypto says, thanks for the carpet. It looks good in our headliner. You are more than welcome, Christian Crypto. Right, comments are slowing down. We've still got 36 viewers in and 37 thumbs up. That is rad. Thank you so much, everybody. Have you enjoyed the live tonight? Have you enjoyed the Q&A? I've certainly enjoyed the random questions from people who don't normally tune in. So when I've got people going, how's your king? He's fine, sure. It's been really cool. So thanks so much for tuning in. So yes, 38 of you in right now, 34 in fact. Who wants to ask any more questions? If not, I'm going to start winding it down so I can knock it on the head at 9 p.m. and say goodnight to my kids and enjoy the rest of my evening. Paul Warren says, first live I've been in, I'll definitely be back as the van build survives. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope this has been entertaining enough or educational enough for you all. Like I say, if you are still tuning in, you are still watching, thank you so much for being here and getting involved in the chat. Even the British Gamer, he's, from what I can tell, you're a new dude, so thanks so much. He says, say night for me. Richard, thank you so much. We've had 40 thumbs up, which is rad. There's still 38 people. Again, if you're watching, there's a little 3 dotted area up here somewhere that you can hit and do us a thumbs up. That'd be amazing if you could do that for us. Thank you so much. Brian Cox is in. He says, last solar question, please. Fitting another panel. Sorry, last solar question, please. Fitting another panel. Are those plastic corner fixings okay, or brackets off of roof bars? Again, entirely up to you and your application. I generally don't like drilling or fastening solar panels through the roof. So have a look at different fixings and fastenings. If we do have the plastic ones, we don't ever just use bond. We always like to use a mechanical fixing as well. So in the case of those plastic corner fixing pieces, we do use them. They do work well. Whether they'd survive 30,000 miles across the Mongolian desert, I don't think so. But for normal UK use and driving, they should be fine. Tim says, cheers, Leigh, for your help. Good night, mate. Good night, my man. James says, thanks, Leigh. Have a good week. Thank you, too. John Sear says, are you still using your Beetle as a daily commuter? No, but I will be very shortly. Brian Cox says, thanks for the advice. Been great. Paul Warren says, what Beetle do you have? I have a 1972 1200 single port. I did some videos on the lives, actually. In fact, if you go back on our live videos, I actually started it for the first time in my ownership. Not for the first time in my ownership. For the first time after it was laid dormant for a couple of years. Live on a channel. It was really cool. Really good fun, actually. And John might have remembered that. I think John was there. So, yeah. It was good fun. Michael Cosgrove says, thanks, Leigh. Have a good one. Casper the Friendly Cooking Apple, again, best name on here so far. What's your thoughts on hand painting vans with a roller? On the outside or inside? On the outside, I hand painted Bully, my Type 25, with a roller 12 years ago. Still looks good. It's getting a bit rusty now. But yeah, it's good. But prep is key. Prep is key. Leslie, did my first mod today, fitting windshield on my cab windows. Yes! See, it's starting off with the small wins. Go for the easy hanging fruit first and then go for the harder stuff. But fitting a set of windshields, if that's the first mod you've ever done, congratulations to you. That's awesome. Well done, Leslie. That's so brilliant. Did my first mod today, fitting windshield on my cab windows. I was so chuffed. Thought I've built the van. Night, Leslie. That was brilliant. Thanks so much. Brian Cox says, thank you. Paul Warren says, I have a 66. So we have the same financial drain. Yes, absolutely, we do. I'd love to see pictures of that. Gary Plumley says, evening all. Leigh, how big would you make the vent hole in a gas cabinet? I believe that's a standard size. I would say it's a 60mm hole off the top of my head. I would say the vents that you get with kit, say if you bought a gas locker kit from the likes of Clear Cut Conversions, they come with a vent, they come with a gas locker, they come with a regulator, they come with some flexi hose, they come with some solid 8mm fastenings. I believe it's a 60mm hole. John Sear says, I was there with the Beatles start. Yeah, absolutely. That was a good video. I really enjoyed that. That was about a year ago, maybe longer. Łukasz Katowski? No? Katechki? Sorry if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly. Hello from Czech Republic. Beatles are cool. I have a 2007 Mini. Small cars have big charm. Yes, absolutely. Brilliant stuff, guys. And that's it. That is 59.59. Just rolled over to 60 minutes. That was awesome. I'm going to call it today, actually, because the comments are starting to roll down. We did even extra last week, which was so much fun. But yeah, tonight I want to go and say goodnight to my babies, and I want to have the rest of my evening. But what a really cool live. If I could just get everybody right now to just give me a wave or say a good night or whatever it might be, just in the last, let's call it 30 seconds. Let's see how many we've got. If you're still watching, that would be amazing. And also, if you haven't done so yet, go and hit, that's where my thumbs up is here, that's showing on my screen, it's here. If you haven't hit the thumbs up, please go do that. There's like 3 dots on your screen somewhere, and you can go and hit the thumbs up. That would be super cool of you if you could do that. Thank you so much. And here we go. We've got people saying goodnight. This is wicked. Mint Sauce has given us the 2 fingers up. Etch 2002 with a thumbs up. Jim Geddes has said thanks. Top Flight Films has says bye Leigh, give us a wave. Lukash has said night. Etch 2002 has given us a wave. Paul Warren says thanks Leigh, have a good evening. Leslie says night. Casper the Friendly Cooking Apple, thumbs up. Mint Sauce has given us another wave. Etch 2002. Is that a fist bump? Eric 4x4 says good night. Right, I'm going to call it, people. Thank you so much once again. Have a great week, and we'll see you on Sunday. Bye-bye.